Welcome to the Indian Newslink podcast by Pranita Mahajan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another podcast by Indian Newslink. This is Pranita, and I wanted to talk about a story that we recently did about Gen Zs and how their influence and the way they interact is affecting pretty much everything around us. It's affecting the way the brands communicate with us. It is affecting a lot of marketing, a lot of strategies by some of the leading financial institutions. And I thought we should talk a little more about it. In our recent story, we mentioned how Gen Z, which is primarily people that are born from 1997, when British Prime Minister Tony Blair came to power and Spice Girls were at their peak and they were known till about 2012. So anybody born between 97 to 2012 is popularly known as the Gen Z. And how they are changing the way we interact with each other. So our story covered a very important factor, which said that their importance is growing. This generation is getting more influential because of the growing financial power that it now has. There have been researchers that have highlighted how history's biggest ever transfer of wealth and power is underway as the boomers, or people that are born from 1948 to 64, are retiring or moving out of the workforce. And the Gen Zs, everybody born from 97 to 2012, is coming into that workforce. Now, with this takeover, there would be very different experiences, there would be different habits and different values that would come and be a part of our workforce. And one of the very highlighted points about this generation that everyone unanimously agrees with is how this generation does not have a great attention span, how every interaction that they have is about a quick gratification or quick validation. They have social media to their power, wherein 30-second videos or 60-second videos are now gaining popularity. That is their new way of interaction. So I thought, let's talk more about it. Let's see what that is all about. So they are definitely a generation which is very comfortable in the digital space. They are a generation that is highly informed about online trends. They also have what we all know is the influencer culture, wherein a majority of the population and the audience is influenced by the content that they see online. And that does, to a great extent, define the way they lead their life as well, the choices that they make. Their shopping experiences, their work experiences, their education, and even entertainment, the way they travel, everything is affected by that. So recently we had some figures come out wherein they said almost 40% of Gen Zs do not log into Google to know anything. So if they want to look for a place to eat or a new place to visit, they rely more on TikTok and Instagram, wherein the video content is a lot more validating for them, and they prefer that as the source of information rather than Google. And this has been highlighted by the senior vice president, Mr. Raghavan, who is Google's knowledge and information head. And he said there is a change in mindset. Now, what does that change bring with it for us as a society? So from my perspective, I think, yes, we do have these short form videos wherein, you just see these 30-second videos gaining traction online. But what that also provides to this generation, and after talking to a number of people, which we covered in our story, I can tell you personally that they strongly believe that the platforms like TikTok or Instagram or even YouTube Shorts, that provides an unprecedented avenue for them for creative expression. This is the platform where the users can showcase their talents, they can experiment with different kinds of content, they can connect with their peers, they can share their likes, their dislikes, their beliefs. And this, to a great extent, does foster a sense of individuality and creativity in them. At the same time, I think the second very important point is digital awareness. How these young generation, they already know how to edit the videos, how to post content online. It comes very naturally to them. It's just a part of life, and that's how they interact with each other. And they are definitely a lot more aware of the social media dynamics. They know how to interact in the digital space, and that does have its own plus point because of the confidence that they bring to the table with that. We spoke to a young girl, and she highlighted how earlier you used to write letters, but you don't do that anymore. And as time went on, we moved on to SMS, which is the short messages that we all have got used to, and it has become a part of our professional and personal communication. She said that using emojis, using memes, using these videos, and sharing these reels is a common language among teens and among youth nowadays. It adds a layer of humor. She said it adds a lot of expression in our communication because it goes beyond traditional text. So you can clearly, highlight the emotions with which you're saying something. And that is very important for this generation. They find it easier to express their thoughts through visuals. So it's a form of visual expression for them. It is definitely something that enhances the way they interact with each other. At the same time, I think the next point that it brings me to is how people from diverse backgrounds come together on these platforms, on TikTok or Instagram, and create content which is very diverse but also highlights their own creativity. That helps them in creating a global exchange of sorts and promote understanding and appreciation for different perspectives. It highlights more interconnectedness in the world. It creates a lot something that we call a global village, wherein people from diverse backgrounds can come together, they can share their thoughts, their creativity, their talents, their traditions, and have conversations because it is their own personal expression. And this visual communication is gaining traction because a lot of the young people believe that this has more effect on you when you see the person that is talking. It creates a lot more value to the content, and that is just how they see it. Then skill development, I'll again highlight how important that is, because to create content you need to know what your audience is looking for, how to engage with them, how to create the right kind of video editing skills, the right kind of music choices. And there are many careers that have now come up which were not there when the previous generation came into the workforce. So everything today is digital centric. The job market is primarily digital centric. So having the skills would definitely give you the right kind of opportunities as well. And another plus point that I really want to highlight is the social awareness aspect of it. This TikTok generation, as they're popularly known as, has been criticized many times for having lower attention spans, using way too many filters, they are self-absorbed. These are some of the things that the older generations have completely and repeatedly told them again and again, and kind of just defined their personality in these words, and we've kind of shrunk it to that perspective. But what this generation is also doing is they have a very strong inclination towards raising awareness on social issues. The users are using these platforms and they're advocating change, they're advocating for social justice, they're talking about the environment, they're talking about things that matter to them, they're creating these platforms wherein people can come and a vast audience can come together, again creating a global village but raising awareness. They're talking about war, they're talking about violence against women, about the environment, again is being highlighted. And that's why you have a lot of teenage activists that have now gained a lot of attention, a lot of media frenzy around them, because of the social media platforms that they use so wisely and so smartly. So yeah, it's not all negative when you see this youth engaged in social media. The short term content consumption, of course, is a reality now, but in a fast paced digital landscape, the short form content aligns with the attention span of the user. So it encourages more efficient and engaging communication rather than the long format of content that we were used to. So, for example, you had a YouTube video which went on for about half an hour to give you, some kind of information. It is now being done within a minute. And what that does is keeps it very crisp, keeps it very interesting, and keeps it very efficient. So I think we should give credit where it's due. This generation is definitely digital savvy. It is very aware of what it's doing, and whether we like it or not, whether the boomers like it or not, it is here to stay. And with this generation entering the workforce, gaining more power, gaining more visibility in real time world, we would definitely see how it affects the world that we are living in. There are, of course, a lot of cons with this, so I'm not completely supporting it. There are definitely the privacy concerns. The rapid growth of these platforms does have concerns about the data privacy, about the user information being shared. And there are a lot of potential vulnerabilities there, but we have to of course keep that in mind, but also encourage this level of creativity to come through and see where it takes us all as a society. So on that note, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We just thought we'll share our little feedback with you, but do feel free to write to us, send us an email, let us know what you think about the Gen Z and their newfound voice of expression, the visual expression. Thank you so much for listening. This is Pranita signing out, wishing all of you a great day ahead.
Thank you for listening to the Indian Newslink podcast by Pranita Mahajan.